Happy Sunday, fighters. Happy Sunday. How are you guys doing? Happy Sunday. This is our first Sunday of the month. For you guys that are getting in here, every Sunday night we drop those purple hearts in honor of my mother. How are you guys doing on tonight? Make sure that you guys are sharing this out. Share this out. How are you guys doing? Can you guys see me on here? Okay, I see myself. Drop those purple hearts in honor of my mother tonight. For my new fighters, every Sunday night when we get on here, we drop purple hearts in honor of my mother, Francine Neal. She is the reason for the season. Facebook user, who is that? Shantae? Martise, how are you, babe? How are you? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Thank you for those purple hearts. Make sure you guys are sharing this out. Our network is growing so big. Hey. Thank you for those purple hearts. Hey, Keish. If you guys are watching from Micheline Monique, go over to the Silent Fight page. That's how I can see who's watching. I don't know why. If you are on my personal page, when you guys are putting up your comments, then I can't see it. So I need for you guys to be on the Silent Fight so I can know who's in the fight with me. We have an amazing conversation for you guys tonight. We have an amazing conversation for you guys. As always, every Sunday when I get on here, I make sure that I play a video that has motivated me. And so every week I decided to play Maddie JT Stopatnik. And he talks about getting back to the heart songs of humanity. And no matter what it is that we talk about on the show, this is so near and dear to my heart because we cannot change the mindset if we do not heal the heart. We have to heal the heart. And the conversation that we are going to have tonight is going to be so amazing. So let me get our motivational video started and then we could jump right into the show.
For our world, we need to stop. Just stop. Stop for a moment before anybody says or does anything that may hurt anyone else. We need to be silent. Just silent. Silent for a moment before we forever lose the blessing of songs that grow in our hearts. We need to notice. Just notice. Notice for a moment before the future slips away into ashes and dust of humility. Stop, be silent, and notice. In so many ways, we are the same. Our differences are unique treasures. We are a mosaic of gifts to nurture, to offer, to accept. We need to be, just be. Be for a moment, kind and gentle, innocent and trusting, like children and lambs, never judging or vengeful, like the judging and vengeful. And now let us pray, differently yet together, before there is no earth, no life, no chance for peace.
Okay, who do we have? Hey, Jamal. Hey, whoever, I don't know who Facebook user is. Stevenson, happy Sunday. You have to drop those purple hearts for my mother. Today we have a really great conversation for you guys. You know, I built this platform so that we can fight different battles together, right? We are all fighting things that we think that we are fighting alone. And so, like I said, this platform was built so that we can come together collectively to try to find a solution to these problems. Now, one of the problems that I'm having is that I am a single mother. I don't know how I end up somebody baby mama. I don't know, but I have two children. And so I often wonder how someone can just walk away from their children. I mean, you can get up every day and you can just live your life freely, and there's no disabilities, there's no logical reason for you to want to walk away from your children. And so instead of me trying to come up with these conclusions on my own, because we know that the mind will do what words will never do, right? We can make ourselves believe whatever we want to make ourselves believe. All we have to do is just think it. And so I like to ask these questions, especially to my fighters. And so I'm in this group and I posted, if I had a man that will be willing to get on here and talk to me. And guess what? I found an amazing guest. And so I want to bring him on here and we're going to have a live conversation about this topic. And I want you guys to really chime in on this because I honestly believe that if we can find an answer to this question, why do men just willingly walk away from their children? I think probably 75% of the problems that we have in the world will be solved. Right. So let me get him on here and let him introduce himself. He is so amazing. We had a conversation before the show the other day, and I am just really excited about this. So let me bring him on here so we can get started. And make sure you guys are dropping those purple hearts. Drop those hearts. How are you?
How you doing?
I am amazing. I'm amazing.
Big smile on tonight.
Yes. We have to smile.
Oh
We
yeah,
have to smile. Everything that we're dealing with in the world, we gotta fight it with a smile.
definitely that.
Yes. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the fighters?
Oh well, I guess just a little bit about me. My name is Carl Gnosis Jones, and I own a marketing and consulting company, a product creation company. We design products. I started out doing military weapons, and so we do a little bit of everything, all the way down to EMF radiation with atomic shield EMF. And so we're here trying to help people and let people get a better understanding versus an understanding of who it is that they are and what it is that they do and where it is that they're going. So that's me in a nutshell.
Military weapons.
Oh yeah. I was very good at killing people. Uh, so got out of that and wanted to create some things that were more so educational, things that were going to help people. So we have everything from safety equipment to sports equipment and things to actually help people to save lives and monitor and things like that. So we do a lot of different things.
Yes. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Valerie. We have a great conversation tonight. Mr. Carl is on here with us. And I didn't tell you this when we talked that day, when you said that you designed military weapons, right?
Mhm.
I didn't reveal to anybody that I wanted to um, start a store where I can give self defense products to women,
Okay.
but I wanted some real stuff. I didn't want things that was cliche. So when you said that's what you did,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, he is the person I need to talk to.
I've got a partner in Philadelphia. That's what he does. And we consulted him about 4 years ago, and he has a very prosperous company right now. And it's not just, arming women and or men. It's being able to educate everything from children all the way up on what to do, when to do, and how to do. The world's just becoming crazier and crazier on a daily basis. We're on the verge of World War III. We're in situations that we shouldn't be in, and our gas prices are ridiculous. A dozen eggs cost you $4. At least here in Nashville. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's crazy. It's ridiculous, and it's something that we shouldn't be going through. But at the same time, we're giving billions of dollars to a country that 90.93% of all Americans have never been to. Most of us didn't even know about it until the situation came up with Russia. So at this point in time, we're just kind of in a position to where we've got to know how to handle ourselves because things are getting rougher here in this country. So we definitely have to talk about that. I need to hook you up with my boy out in Philadelphia, and maybe it'll be a subsidiary to where he can give it his opinion on what it is that he knows, what it is that he does when it comes down to self defense. Like you said, you have two children; they got to know how to defend themselves and what to do. And every now and again, being able to touch a person in the right place when you're being assaulted is
Yeah.
enough to get them off of you.
Yeah.
Even my company, we've designed a taser that's built inside of a bracelet for women. So we'll have to talk about that. So there's no reason that you should be able to have to walk to your car with a taser that somebody could knock out of your hand, but when it's on your finger and wrapped around your finger like a ring, and you've got 35,000 joules, that gets a predator up off of you. At least it makes them think twice, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about. So that's the type of products that it is that we create, we design, things that make sense, you
Yes.
know.
Things
So yeah,
that
we definitely gotta to get that call going sometime this week.
make,
Get you with
yes.
my guy in Philly, and but that's exactly what it is that he does. Educates people in general.
Yeah.
So children all the way up, and my girls, I make sure that they know how to shoot a gun, that they're licensed, that they know when to do, what to do, and how to do.
Yeah.
And if somebody's threatening your life, you gotta make sure that you're willing to take theirs, you know, to protect yourself.
Mm.
We all have a goal and a purpose and a point of being here. Now God gives us one thing. He ain't showed up since day 6. Day 7, he took a rest. So technically he ain't been here since day 6. So
Okay.
what he gives us is a choice to choose. So either you're going to choose to let somebody hurt you, or you're going to choose to protect yourself so you can still be here tomorrow to make the mark on the world that it is that you're supposed to make. There is a choice. It goes two ways.
And it just makes sense. And
Yeah.
this is the first time I'm revealing to
Hmm.
you this. And
Hmm.
this is what I told my fighters. I pray every day for divine connections. And
Hmm.
that's why these live interactions are important to me, because you guys are witnessing live what I'm building. You understand? We didn't even talk about this.
Right.
But when you realize your purpose and you have a direction to go in, I guarantee you that the universe will provide.
Yeah. But you got
All
to fight for it.
you
You
gotta
got to
fight.
fight for it. And you got
You
to
got
get the knowledge that it is that you need to have. You got to know these things. You and I, we spoke briefly about 2 plus 2 not equaling 5. I mean, equaling 4. It's
yeah,
always equal 5. You have to have a stepping stone. When you build a home, the first thing that they lay is the cornerstone, but they
yeah,
don't count that in the house. But that is what keeps that house balanced to make sure that that house stands. So
yeah,
you have to have that cornerstone to stand on, and that cornerstone is knowledge
yeah,
all day, every day. And what we're here to talk about tonight is going to be a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of opinion, a
yeah,
little bit of speculation,
mm,
in some scenarios.
mm,
But when it all comes down to it, we're all the same, regardless of the race, creed, and color. We're trying to raise our families and enjoy our lives, and every now and again take a vacation into a country to where we can enjoy the sunshine when it's cold where we are.
yeah,
That's it,
yes, yes.
and take some pictures and then show everybody what we did.
Capture the moment.
That's it. That's it. That's
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into our conversation. So the question that I have
Hmm.
is, why do men willingly,
Hmm.
willingly,
Okay.
let me stress willingly,
Okay.
walk away from their children? And now, let me be transparent.
Hmm.
This is a question that I battle because I am a single mother,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And as I grew up and I watched people who had kids before me, I kind of learned from their mistakes, right? On top of that, I've always been a daddy's girl because my mother allowed that.
Okay.
I've always been a mama's girl because my daddy allowed that, if that makes sense. So I've always believed in the family dynamics. So
Hmm.
when I say people walk away, I mean my kid's father, he doesn't have he's unsure if it's his kids or not. He knows they're his. He
Hmm.
doesn't have me playing the games with the kids like, oh, Kevin is sick, Messiah is sick, I need you now. I don't tell no lies. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I
Hmm.
cannot, then I'll reach out. I need you now. I make sure that I update with doctor's appointments, milestones, birthday invitations, invite the parents out. I don't lie to the kids about the dad. When you can stay gone for 5 years, and when you walk in on that six, here is your children. Go forth, my child. Be great.
Okay.
I cannot understand why you don't want to be a dad to your children. You understand what I'm saying? How can you logically get up every day
Hmm.
and live your life knowing, oh, and he's 40 minutes away from them. So it's not an out of state thing either,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
How can you get up every day and call yourself a man and you don't care about what's going on with these are you.
Okay.
How? I don't understand that.
Let me, in our conversation the other day, you said that I'm able to speak freely.
Yeah.
I'm for everybody who's watching right now, I'm probably going to be the most honest person that you ever see. I'm going to be the person who's going to say exactly what it is that I'm thinking and what it is that I feel. And I have a clear understanding that relationships are a two-way street. We talked about several scenarios
Mhm.
in life. But the fact of the matter is that we all stupid when it come down to the heart.
Mm,
We all stupid. And when I say that, I'm saying that in the sense of you're gonna be stupid about the relationship that it is that you have with him in your scenario. You're gonna be stupid in the situation to where it is that you have kids with this man and you love them and you know there's nothing that will ever replace those things, but yet at the same time, you still want him to do what it is that you think, feel, and want him to do, or
mhm,
what you think and feel and believe.
mhm,
Um, I've got this same scenario going on right now. And the reason why this was such a great, you know, connection is because she's on one side and I'm on the other, but at the same time, we're still experiencing the exact same thing. Me coming as a man, her coming as a woman, because right now I'm that man who hasn't seen my children or my daughters because of the way the mother is,
mhm,
because of the way that she thinks, what it is that she believes, and that antagonist, state of mind. For me, I'm not a fighter. Some dude at the bar, then trust me, I'm the first one coming out of the jack and jumping off tables, beer bottle in hand. It's on and popping if there's a problem. But when it comes down to that ex, and when it comes down to my daughters, you know, I'm not going to fight her. I'm not going to argue with her. I'm not going to be in that scenario. But I clearly have an understanding of who it is that I am, what it is that I'm going to do. Now, let me just give you a scenario here. We did not talk about this the other day. I have a daughter right now who's 27 years old, who her mother took her, just disappeared, and I did not get back in touch with her until she was 11. From the time that she was 4,
mm,
didn't know where she was. Parents lying to me when she was right there the whole time, and I ended up coming across email address or a statement that was made on what was the old, you remember the old stuff back in the early 2000s? It wasn't Facebook, it was MySpace.
MySpace.
Something on MySpace that had the name that gave me a connect because it was a combination of her name and her mother's name.
Mm,
And I said, that has to be my child. And at
mm,
that point in time, I hadn't seen her. Now, the lies and the stories that were told and the things that she was told and put in her head, and like I told her, I said, you know what? You'll learn on your own who your mother is. You'll
Mhm.
learn who she is.
Mhm.
And it's not that we can just walk away, it's just that every now and again we have that understanding that this system is designed to fight against us,
Mhm.
and to it doesn't matter what it is we say or do or how much we've done, how much money we've given. I actually was in a situation, which I did tell you this, to where I was supposed to have visitation and she said I never showed up.
Mhm.
But I videotaped, recorded every time I showed up, every single time. And then not only that, we were meeting at a police station, and I actually had the police officers to sign off the fact that I was there, that I was not only there on time, I was early, and I left late, and no one ever showed up. But the system and the judge still went in her favor at the end of the day, sent me on my way after this woman had stolen from me, not only taken my kids, now that's the ultimate, but had stolen from me my own personal, artifacts in my home. So it's we get tired. We get tired when it comes down to being able to go through these scenarios with people, with women. You know, I'm sorry, I'm
Uh,
having a technical difficulty.
No, you're fine. Let me get to some of these questions. Jamal said it's sad that kids have to suffer because of the parents' ignorance and selfishness.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. It is a sad thing. And men are dominant in my family.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to
Okay.
tap out. You answer that question. I'll be right back.
Okay. Guys, men are dominant in my family. And so, I can easily empathize with men because I- I've been raised by men. And so I don't play games with children. And so this was really important for me because I don't really understand how somebody can walk away from their children willingly when there is no danger, there is no threat to your life, there's no anything besides you can't get past your emotions. And these children have to grow up and know the fact that this person did not want to do what it was that they were supposed to do for them willingly. And it's so irritating because these are the people who will um disregard their responsibilities as fathers, and then once the kids get older, somehow they have this epiphany moment, and then they all of a sudden want to be amazing dads now, right? I don't quite understand. I don't understand. Hey Ricky. Hey, thank you for the purple hearts. I don't quite understand. Like, he's speaking from a point of where a man who has been played with. I don't play with my children. I don't play with my children. And I don't encourage other women to play with their children either, because if you die today or tomorrow, now these kids do not have any anything to stand on. They don't have a relationship with the dad because of an emotional situation. Right? Let me get you back on here. Because of
Hmm.
an emotional situation, now the children are penalized. So I've always been very, very, very particular about that, right? And every time I talk to people, when I talk to men, it's always a rebuttal as to why this guy doesn't take care of his kids. Because I often ask this question, and every time I get a scenario, I'm like, yeah, nope, not me. Yeah, nope, that's not me either.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that when you say that they're not taking care of their kids, so that means that you're not getting financial help from him right now. Now, that right there is a whole nother scenario. You know what I mean?
I don't get financial help. I don't get emotional help. They don't
Mm.
get physical help. They don't get family support. They don't get anything. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, when they took his driver's license, he owed me $43,000 that he owed me. Not that he
Hmm.
owed the state, that he owed me. And I went and took him off of it not because he asked me to.
Hmm.
Honest to God, he didn't ask me to. It was one year he had started doing what he was supposed to do for the children. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Hmm.
like, this could be a good Father's Day gift for him. And I took him off of child support. So, like when I say I check off every box and try to encourage this relationship with these kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him maybe like 6 years ago, I said, you know what's so disappointing is that I spent so much 13 and a half years of my life trying to deal with you to keep you around these children, and y'all don't even have a good relationship. That's the most heartbreaking part of it all. Forget
Mm-hmm.
that our relationship didn't work, but the fact that I wasted my time and you don't even the kids, it's what's the goal, and they don't still don't have you.
Every now and again, other scenarios have to be set up to be able to make someone comfortable. Because I mean, and I hear your side of the story. I hear your side of the story, but I can guarantee you right now, if I had my ex-wife on this line with us right now, she would say something totally different. The crazy thing about it is that my kids are old enough now to be able to speak up and say that's not true, that mama.
Mm-hmm.
So it's every now and again, it's sometimes it's the way that we think about the scenario when it comes down to what it is that we want to do. I mentioned to you about a situation to where I told her, hey, I want to come get the girls, take them to lunch, blah blah blah. She said, I'm coming.
Now let me tell you my story.
All
Let me
right.
tell you my story. I said, you ain't seen your kids. Why don't you come and get your kids? I'm gonna take all the kids to the show. I said, all right, well, go ahead. Have a good time. I'm not taking them by myself. You coming?
Okay. Now, now we had this conversation. We had this conversation the other day, and you said that my mouth is okay, right? Okay. Now, that bullshit ass nigga that it is that you dealing with, that's gonna be a situation that it is that you done got yourself into. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes and some things you just gonna have to suck up and have a clear understanding, not an understanding, because to understand something is to be beneath it, but to have an understanding of something is to be above that shit. And to be honest with you, that's some gay ass shit from a nigga. That when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when I would never tell my ex, you know what? Now you coming too? No, I got rid of your ass for a reason. If you've got a reason to get rid of somebody, then damn it, keep it that way. And I'm saying this to everybody that's on this line right now. If you've
Didn't
got a reason to get rid of that ignorant nigga or heifer, then keep that exactly what it is and figure out a go between to make sure that the kids don't suffer, because that's what we're talking about here. You've got to have a go between to make sure that they don't suffer. But when it comes down to the fact that you, her, he, she, him, it are not compatible, because see, here's the crazy thing. When people first get together, they lie about who it is that they are. You're meeting their representative. You're meeting the person that it is that they want you to think and feel and believe that it is that they are. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that they don't know who the fuck it is that they are. They don't know who they are.
hey?
They don't know who they are. They ain't lived enough. They ain't experienced enough. They don't know enough. They don't have enough knowledge. They have no idea of what's going on. All they know how to do is that this feels good and this is what I'm going for. And then a child comes out and they're the ones who have to suffer in the scenario. Now, some of y'all might not like what it is that I got to say, but the fact of the matter is I ain't going to do nothing but tell you like Jesus did. I ain't going to say it if it ain't so. The
Come
fact of the matter is that you sit here and you get with somebody and you pretend to be somebody else and say that this is what it is that I want, but yet at the same time you got a girlfriend on the side when you're a woman. You got a boyfriend because you undercover and doing what it is that you do. But yet at the same time, at the end of the day, if you were just told that heifer and not taking the one thing that God gives you at the end of the day, which is a choice. When you wake up in the morning, like I said at the beginning, he hadn't been here since day 6. He
yeah,
rested. Other
yeah.
than that, all he does is give you a choice. And when somebody lies to you and pretends to be something that they're not, or they're confused, or just don't know, and they're not man enough or woman enough to say it at the end of the day, because that's how I see it in this scenario where you come with me. You're not man enough to handle your own children. You know what? Here's something that kills me. If you can't handle them, my ex, this is the honest to God true story. My ex, I had my daughter, my first daughter.
Mhm.
And I made the mistake and went back for the simple reason of wanting the fantasy that society has built into my head at that point in time in my life.
Yes.
So that fantasy was is that a child needs a mother and a father,
Mhm.
needs them both. So I had my daughter, my oldest daughter, when I got her, not knowing that she was pregnant with my second child. But when
Mhm.
I got her, I was a single father for right around 9 months. And the
Mhm.
first time in a 9 month period that she came to pick that child up, she called me back 2 hours later, said, "Come get her. She won't stop crying. She won't this, she won't that." Because I mean, the child was only 10, 11 months old. She was, she didn't know her. She didn't know her. So in your scenario, he knows that your kids or y'all's kids don't really know him because he's not there the way that he could be and or should be. Now, don't get me wrong, 45 minutes is a distance, believe it or not. It is some time in between, but anything and everything is workable. But yet at the same time, there is a scenario that is still not being mentioned on his part and or your part to where it is that he's saying that, oh, well, I'm gonna take them out and do this and do that. But yet at the same time, you have to come with me. Are you coming? And if you're not coming, then we're not going. That's an issue. That's a problem. Don't get me wrong. Now, my family didn't raise me. So I don't expect them, and they haven't. My mother doesn't deal with my children when they were younger. I can tell you two times, my oldest one is going to be 30 this month. And I can tell you two times that she picked them up and took them somewhere. That's it. But I can also tell you two times in my life as my mother that she told me, and the words came out of her mouth that she loved me. So everybody's different. Everybody's different, and you don't ever really know what's going on in a person's head. But the thing about it is that we don't tell each other the truth when we first meet somebody. So therefore, they don't know who we are. And then when things change 6 months, 8 months, 10 months down the line, because trust me, people lie well. They
Well,
pretend
see,
for a long
now
time.
now see, people do pretend for a long time, but see, in his case, he didn't really need to do much pretending because I was 17. I was a little girl. I didn't know
Okay.
nothing. I
Okay.
didn't know nothing. You understand?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was the programming that you were trying to give me, right?
Yeah.
But the disconnect came when you gave me kids. When you gave me the kids is where the disconnect came.
Well,
So
you
so
he
let me
he, he gave them to you, but you received them.
I did. And
It
I
was,
did.
it was, it was a two-part show.
It was.
There's no
It
him
was.
just giving them to you. You're not
And
asexual.
you exactly. I
Yeah.
received them. You
Mhm.
understand? And I put on my mommy hat and I wear it proudly. You understand? But that's where the disconnect happened because what he thought was going to happen was he was going to have this young dumb little girl that he molded into being who he wanted to be with the kids.
Mhm.
Follow me? The kids was a part of the scenario, a part of his fantasy. And
Okay.
I'm telling you his words. This ain't me
Mm.
speculating,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
But I grew past him mentally. The
Well,
same thing that he thought was going to make me weak is what made me strong.
okay, and and believe it or not, I mean, I know cats out there in the street that will always be who it is that they are. I got a partner that I've done business with, and I think I mentioned this to you the other day. A few months ago, I helped him activate $1 million Amex card.
Mm-hmm.
He's so slow, he didn't even know how. He doesn't know how to even just when it comes down to basic business, that's not his thing. And I think I told you this cat has 13 children. Two of them got the same as two sisters. Two of the baby mamas are sisters.
Let me see. Let's see these questions. Honest with himself and try to be better. Meaning, at what point will things be different if she is willing and open to allow him to be a father? I don't.
Okay.
I think that's what he's saying. That's a lost cause. You got to be willing. That's what you said, right? You got to be willing to take one for the team. You
you
gotta.
you
You gotta.
do. You got to take that responsibility. And the thing about it is that it wasn't a one-sided show. He didn't have the kids by himself. You didn't have it by yourself. It was both of y'all together. And I get that, but yet at the same time, it's not even really taking one for the team per se. It's just being a man and doing what it is that you're supposed to do. I believe the children are our future is something that we all hear and have heard for a very long time. But the fact of the matter is, if your kids are dumb as hell because they're only getting one side of the scenario. Now, when I say dumb as hell, your kids being dumb as hell is because they have to see things from different points of view. Your point of view is not going to be the same point of view as my point of view. There's no way around it. I can show the kids something a little bit different than you can actually show them. Now, at the end of the day, maybe it's something that I got to learn from the kids that you taught, but it's all about that evolution of being able to learn and grow. And every now and again, people are just not willing to grow. How do you handle that? Every now and again, you just got to suck it up. As a woman, you got to suck it up and say, you know what? This is going to be the scenario. I'm going to do everything that it is that I can do. But in the same situation, I'm going to make sure that it's documented that my kids know exactly who is who and who's doing what. Have some respect. Don't be disrespectful. That's the one thing in life. You can steal from me. You can rob from me. You can talk crazy to me. But when the disrespect come in, it turns me into a different person. I don't care if I'm working on a multi-million-dollar deal or if I'm working to get my meal hot at Wendy's.
Mhm.
The respect has to be there. And
Yes.
this is where the decline falls in and where those children become older. Like I said before, my child was 11 years old when I got back in contact with her. But I said, you know what? Eventually, that child will see exactly who's who and who is what in this scenario. The one thing about my children is that they've never been able to come back and say that daddy lied.
Mhm.
Not one time. You know,
Mhm.
regardless of what it is. Okay, well, they said that mama said that you did this. Well, mama never tells what she did. And one time I got into an argument with my ex-wife and I left and I just went for a ride. I came back, pulled into the garage, and my kids were I fell asleep in the car in the garage. My kids woke me up leaving out going to school the next morning. And when I went upstairs, where you been all night? I was
Mm.
in the garage. No, you wasn't. I would have heard the garage and this, that, and that. It's like I was in the garage. And it turned into a big argument. But the fact of the matter was, I was in the garage. Simple and plain, you know. But yet at the same time, because of what somebody thinks, feels, and believes, it's sort of like I said, Chris Rock made the statement that who are the biggest liars, men or women, and he said, well, men lie the most, but women tell the biggest lies. And
Mhm.
the thing about it is that I've been in court, like I said, with this ex of mine, and she sat there and lied about every single thing, even though I had the proof, and it should have gone in my favor. Men get tired of losing in those scenarios. They get tired of hearing and having somebody feed into their ear that becomes a part of their mind, that actually becomes a part of their nature and a part of their DNA of
You
who it
know
is that
what?
they are.
I think that is, I don't know. Let me read these comments before I.
Yes, ma'am.
Jamal says some women start arguments out of hormones too, though.
Okay, and that's the thing that since we're going into hormones, Jamal, great statement, and here's the reason why: is because things change in the human body, and we don't even learn enough about that to be able to control what it is in our emotions and our feelings. We put the processed foods into our systems. We end up with COVID 2 3 times when you can just take some zinc and some tonic water,
Mhm.
and that will actually open up the cells to allow you to be able to fight those things. We don't get the knowledge that it is about us. So when those hormones do change, and we start adjusting in who it is that we are, and it makes us more angry, it makes us more violent sometimes, and it's going to depend on your age. I'm at the age right now to where I don't want to argue. I don't want to be bothered. And when somebody else's hormones get in the way, I just kind of be straightforward with them and just be like, you know what, that right there, I'm not even with. You know, uh,
Like I told you the other day when we were talking, Just like Jamal said, so I'm a woman. So
Mm-hmm.
I've heard these things throughout my life. I'm 38. So I'm very particular about the things that I do. So I make sure that I check my hormones. As a matter of fact, I'm not an emotional woman, right?
Okay.
And so if I start getting emotional, then I
Hmm.
start scanning my perimeter.
Okay.
Do that make sense? So
Well,
it's irritating me, and I just
I mean, and see, and that's the thing, and I think I mentioned to you, every church I've ever been in, that they've asked me not to come back because they're going to get the truth versus the emotion, you
yeah.
know. And you've got some women who can be truthful in who it is that they are, who are more so on the, reality side versus letting the emotions control them. My ex-wife, one thing I used to say to her whenever she got mad, that's just your emotions showing their face without the benefit of intellect.
Mhm.
Because if you would stop and think about what it is that you're feeling right now and see that it's logical, I mean, when do I go anywhere? When do I do anything? And some people let their past come into play
Mhm.
into what it is that they're doing today. So all you got to do is look like this other person, and it ends up affecting what it is that you're in right now because it's something that reminds you of something else. I was at a fundraiser last night, and the lady who was speaking, it reminded me of a bad situation that I went through. And I
Mhm.
literally, before I went on to speak, I literally almost had to get up and go out of there because of something that happened to me when I was 15 years old. It reminded me of that and it made me emotional.
Mhm.
So by the time I actually got up there to speak, I didn't give any emotions. And the grant writer was with us. And the grant writer said, "Why didn't you go into your story and this, that, and other?" And I said, "Because I needed to get the emotion out of the way and just give the facts.
Mhm.
I don't need to fight and I don't need to get caught up in a situation that was
Mhm.
going to not allow me to
Mhm.
think." And this is where it is. When we get to the point to where, it gets emotional between somebody is that we love and or love, and even if we have children with them or don't,
Mhm.
when that emotion comes into the scenario, it's the type of thing that can change the battlefield. And most men don't want to feel that they are lowering themselves
Mhm.
to care and to feel.
Mhm.
I'm a man. I'm a millionaire. I'm a
Mhm.
I'm a street dude. I grew up at hard. I'm a drug dealer and I'm gangster and I'll kill somebody in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
Those scenarios all deal with emotion and pride when it comes
Mhm.
to a man. And women, you all are more on the emotional side.
Mhm.
Your genetics are designed for that. Now, don't get me wrong. I got some chicks. If I ran into them in an alley, I'd have to fight them with a brick. They'd win. I'm not that dude that's going to fight you, and it's going to be one of those scenarios. But yet, at the same time, I understand who it is that I'm dealing with when I'm dealing with them. And once again, if we go back to the very beginning, we don't take the time to get to know anybody. 2 weeks after we meet somebody, we're in the bed. My daughter told me one day, "Daddy, he won't call me back. Daddy, he won't call me back." I said, "Baby, when did you sleep with him?" "Daddy." I said, "No." I said, "Ain't no daddy. You started this conversation." I said, "Where'd you sleep with?" She said, "Well, it was about a week and a half after we met." I said, "Hell, I wouldn't have called your ass back either." And that's my child.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Again, again,
Hmm.
I've heard all of these stories. And
Hmm.
so I'm very, very particular in the way that I do things. Do you understand? So when I tell you, let me tell you something. I had this dude who it took an entire year for me to sleep with him.
Hmm.
As soon as we started having sex, 3 months later, he was clowning.
Hmm.
I don't, what be wrong with him?
If we did a business deal, and I told you that I'm gonna give you $50,000 today, I'm gonna give you an additional $50,000 next week,
Mm-hmm,
and then I'm gonna give you an additional $50,000 the week after that.
mm-hmm,
But then we're done. I
mm-hmm,
won't be able to give you anymore. You got to make that work for you. That $150,000. You got to make it work.
mm-hmm,
If I'm done, I'm done. You've gotten what you want. And to be honest with you, other than you messing up that $150,000, you technically have no reason to call me back again. You don't. But see, the thing about it is that if I'm giving you $150,000, I've got an agenda. My
Mm-hmm.
agenda from day one,
Mm-hmm.
his agenda from day one was
Mm-hmm.
to get where it is that he wanted to get. The thing about it is that you can't be with him always. You can't be with him everywhere it is that he goes.
Mm-hmm.
I know cats that rents out apartments, got pictures up of fake friends and family in it, and but yet at the same time got a wife and kids at home.
I've
It's
had
just
that. I've had that situation too. Now, see, this is why I like to talk to men because I be having questions.
mm-hmm,
I respect that. I
mm-hmm,
respect the agenda. I
mm-hmm,
respect when I figure it out. Now, then here's the problem.
okay,
When they try to double back, that be my, I don't care about what nobody done did. You ain't hurt my kids. You ain't hurt my family. My feelings is hurt. I'm going to cry, but I swear to God, I'm going to get over it. Is when they double back, I feel all kind of insulted. Explain that. Because I can understand you doing whatever you want to do. You had the agenda. You won. Kudos. You got it. But what they don't understand with me is when I slide so easily.
okay. Well, and I get that. I get that. But at the same time, I mean,
But I get accused then.
uh-huh.
I get accused.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't shit anyway. You didn't really love me anyway.
Okay. Okay. I'm like I said, you know I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They saw your ass floating in on the slow boat, and they saw an opportunity, and they ran with it. It was all on you. It was all your fault.
And that's what I say.
Yeah.
Now, I must be dumb. Didn't I tell you that the
It's
other
no, no,
night?
no, no. It's we get into positions to where we get lonely. We get, we see something that looks good, but everything that looks good ain't always good for you. So, and a lot of times that's where we make our mistakes. Me personally, I'd rather spend the time to get to know who it is that I am, be alone, not be bothered. Like I said, the other day, it's sort of like when dating somebody and saying, hey, yeah, let's go out and have lunch, this, that, and another, and I let her know that she need to bring some money. My money is my money, and because I don't know you. I
Yeah.
don't know you. We're just meeting. We're just learning to get to know one another. Let me get to know you before I start spending. I don't care if I got $2 or 2 million. It doesn't matter. It's mine.
It's
And it's going
my
to continue to be mine. And that's the thing. It should be that way as well. When letting people into your life and into your heart and into your mind, they have to show and prove themselves. And this is where we make the mistake. This because we don't know the people that it is that we're dealing with. I had sisters, and like I said, my older sister came in 6 days out of the week with a different plate. I'm talking about she up cooking, warming up ribs for breakfast, mixing them with eggs from leftovers from the night before, and it's gonna be something different the next night. It's like went all over the city. Every restaurant in town. I couldn't go nowhere with my sister into a restaurant on a Sunday after church or something, and if we go into a restaurant, they already know her. You're gonna have your usual drink. That's just how it was. Because she was just there with Bob, the night before or a few days before. I
mm.
get that. I get that. The thing about it is not lying about it, and this is where the problem comes in. You don't have to do that. If they're not for you, then call it a day. If I tell somebody that it is that I don't like you, then that's just what it is.
Thank you. This is a man. Now, Carl,
Mm-hmm.
what I get is because women are
Mm-hmm.
so unsure, because that's what the typical woman does, right?
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
want to be with you. I want to be with you. I don't want to be with you. I want to be with you. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I let you know that in the beginning. I let you know I will never say I don't want to be with you unless I don't want to be with you. If I tell you to leave me alone, then please leave me alone.
Okay. Well, see, the thing about it is that, you know, a lot of people when they get a pork chop, every now and again they come across some gravy.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, you know what, I got my pork chop, but I can have gravy on top of it too. Well,
Mm-hmm.
she'll never find out about this.
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll never find out about this. So I'm playing right down the middle. I understand what the topic is and the reason why. Is it hard for me to leave my child and or children or whatever it may be? It is hard as hell. I pray for them every day. But yet at the same time, I also have a clear understanding from what it is that I've been through that I'm not going to jail because somebody else wants to act stupid. Because I know who it is that I am. I know me. And that's the beginning part of anything and everything, knowing exactly who it is that you are. Will I hit a woman? No. The only women that I've ever hit in my life has been my sisters, and they deserved that shit when I did it. Love them, but she came in, my oldest sister came in, just took my radio, just unplugged it, just from the cord, just, pick up my radio and walk out, we ended up fighting. It's the only women I've ever hit in my life. Now, will I shake shit out of one? Yeah, I will. And if I got to do that, I got to go to the point of disrespecting and putting my hands on somebody in any way that's not my sisters, because them niggas, they needed it. Uh, then I don't need to be with them. If they're going to take me outside of myself and who it is that I be, we're here for peace. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to do what it is that we're supposed to do. Now, the problem is that, yeah, you got these children, but the fact of the matter is, if we're going to look at it in a biblical way, you did exactly what it is that you were supposed to do, and that was to be fruitful and multiply. And so did he. So neither one of y'all are wrong in the scenario from the very beginning. Now, at the end of the day, when it comes down to raising them, making sure that they eat, it's not the government's job to be able to do that either. Why is my tax dollars paying for what it is that you need to do because of the mistakes that you made when you could have thought about it? The point is to find the right person, spend some time before actually, I ain't saying laying down with them, but to the point of conceiving children, because there is protection, but depending on who it is that you are. If you're going by what the book says, and it says to be fruitful and multiply, that makes contraception or, a condom or any type of birth control against God's rules, if
Mm-hmm.
you look at it that way. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is, we weren't designed to look at it in any way. Those things are man made. And as long as we continue to think like man thinks, we're going to find ourselves in a fucked up situation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get to know what it is that you're dealing with. I can guarantee you one thing: if there was a raccoon in your trash and you walked out the door and he was right there, you don't go over there and just pet him because he will bite you. His job is to bite you. A rattlesnake, same thing. He's going to bite you. As a matter of fact, he warns you. And men are going to warn you, and women are going to warn you about who it is that they are. You can look at somebody and tell exactly who it is that you're dealing with from the very beginning. You get a general idea. We get the warning signs, we get the red lights, we get all of those things, but yet at the same time, because of something emotional or something physical or something just primordial, to
Mm-hmm.
where we want to say, all right, this is man and woman, and they're supposed to go together. That's that animal instinct.
Yeah.
It's, sometimes it just happens. But be honest about it when you do it. Say, no, no, this is what I want. And if she says no or he says no, then it's a decision made by two adults. The problem is that we lie our way into it. And then when you find yourself knocked up, or he finds himself in a situation to where he's knocked her up, we
Mm-hmm.
want to try to sit there and deny the scenario and not own up to what it is that we've done. There's no way around it. That's the reason why we have police in this country. Because when you have a car accident and you bump into somebody and run a light, the police show up and they get a general idea of who to report it to, whether it's going to be the courts or if it's just going to be the insurance company. It's designed to have a system of law, and relationships in life should be the same way. We have to put it in a scenario to where we're thinking about what it is that we're doing way ahead of time. There's nothing wrong with having friends. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with dating. There's nothing wrong with having physical contact with somebody else that has the same like mind about you as you do about them, and protecting yourself in the situation. Now, when it comes down to, once again, the subject of the matter is, How is it that a man can just walk away from his children? It's a definite two-way street. I get what it is that you say that it is that he did, but the fact of the matter is that unless I can read your mind, I will never know if what it is that you've told me about your side of the story is 100% accurate and true. So it's hard for me to comment on that because you could be that crazy chick to show up at your house at 2 o'clock in the morning, stand on top of the air conditioning unit, beat all on the window, talking about open the door. I done dealt with her too. Hell,
And
I met a girl with the same birthday as that girl one time and said, "No, I can't even talk to you. I done met you before." I
and
didn't
that's
talk to
the
somebody
reason
like
why. That's the reason why. What you said that I know people don't know, but I know 100% of what I'm saying is true. Hear me and hear me well.
that.
And so, just like you said, how the girl got the same birthday, when a
Hmm.
man show any similar characteristics of my kid's dad, then there is a no for
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
And dudes always say, you still love your kids. No, I learned
Hmm.
all of my lessons from him.
Okay. And see, but that's what it's about. That's
Yeah.
what it's about. I mean, I don't know if your parents ever, of course they'll tell you, don't touch it. It's hot.
Uh-huh.
They'll tell you that. But
Uh-huh.
every now and again, we still touch it. And,
Yes.
and when we get burned, we have to learn that lesson.
And when I had to learn is why I always tell women,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
I'm telling you because I know from experience, because I was just thrown into it. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Well, you said you were
I
how
was
old?
17. I
Okay,
didn't
now
know.
where was your mom, dad?
My mom and dad was around.
Okay,
My dad had moved out of town, but my mom was around.
okay,
But
and then, and then,
what we got from him, listen, let me tell you something. I'm still shocked that he's a deadbeat dad. I'm trying to tell y'all.
okay,
I'm still shocked. There
mhm,
was no tendencies of the deadbeat dadness. There was no, I can't take care of you. I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to protect. I'm telling you, when I had the kid, I was bamboozled.
okay. And to be honest with you, I'm trying to give him his bamboozle award. He needs like a glass trophy, uh, you know. And you've got these people out there. This is the way of the world.
It
It's the way of the
is.
world.
And I
It's the
try
way of
to
the world.
these is why these conversations is so important because women really do be, from what I understand,
Hmm.
they really do in their head. They be trying to go over what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Those that care. We're not talking about the ones that you deal with.
Right.
And I just want women to understand it is what it is. People are who they show you that they are.
Not always, because sometimes they're going to show you that they're completely somebody different. Just like you said, you got bamboozled, and there's no way around it. I'm dealing with a $10 million business deal, right? And
Mhm.
and in the meeting, he tells me, nope, we're going to have this, we're going to do that, we're going to have this. The next 30 to 45 days, we're going to have all of this. Right now, we are 3 weeks past, and 2 weeks ago, I told his ass don't call my damn phone no more because these are not the games that it is that we want to play. And regardless of how much money, how good that deal is going to be, and how much it actually is going to help me prosper and to move people forward in life with education programs and some of the things that it is that we do, I was still willing to walk away from it. A lot of times it's just good. We're not willing to walk away from it. And we had that conversation the other day.
Mhm.
Every now and again, and I told you about that, that particular girl.
Mhm.
If the I'm just gonna say it. If the head wasn't on 11, I would got rid of her ass a year and a half ago. Uh, if it wasn't on 11, but that's because I know me.
You know
I know
you.
me. I know me. But the minute that it went to the left on her part, it was just like, nigga, don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. And I'm cool with that. There was no children involved. There was nothing to stop me from doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But, in scenarios to where there are children involved, the thing about it is that you've got to be mom and daddy.
Yeah.
You've got to be that. I know guys now, and here's my opinion, and anybody can chime in on this because I'm actually planning on taking this to legislature in the state of Tennessee. That's where I live. It's already been in legislature, but when it comes down to DNA and things like that, when children are born, there are certain things that should automatically be done. When a
Yeah.
child is born, a DNA test should be
I've
done.
been
It
saying
should
that.
be done, period. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I've
That's
been,
just 100% real and true. There's
yeah,
no way to know. And, it's, yeah, she looks like me,
yeah,
or, yeah, but so did the nigga that my girl was cheating on me with. He
yeah,
looked like me. So
yes,
yes, the baby still has some
yes,
characteristics or in our eyes of what it is that we may think that the kid should look like. You know what I'm saying? I
absolutely.
see myself slightly, but when it came down to it, even when I was married, I still DNA tested my kids. There
Yeah,
was nowhere around it because I understand what can happen, and I
but
understand that people are not always 100% straightforward. Pride is a mother. It's a
yes,
mother.
yeah,
And even when it came down to scenarios that I could prove in life, people will still lie about it. They'll
yes,
still lie about it, even when they're wrong. They'll carry that lie to their death,
yeah,
to their grave. They will carry it. And even with your ex, he may say, "No, I tried to be the perfect father," and he will carry that lie to his grave. And maybe somewhere in his mind, he
yes,
thinks that.
somewhere
He,
his mind,
Maybe
yes,
you just messed up, and he
yes,
believed his own bullshit so much when you were with him
yes,
that it just carried over into his personal life. That's the reason why you couldn't see it, because hell, he was convinced of it. You know,
yes,
if he
yes,
convinced that he can ride a motorcycle on a tightrope across
yes,
Niagara Falls and he dies in the process, and it'd be
yes,
like, well, he believed he can do it, but obviously it wasn't true.
yes,
He did that.
yes. And
And
that's what I tell people.
this is where
In,
you are.
in his mind, he is a good dad.
Yeah,
He is a good dad in his mind.
yeah.
But
But
that just shows you the power of perspective.
mhm.
That's what goes on in people's mind is their reality.
I had to block my son the other day, okay,
Mhm.
because my son has grown up. He think he a gangster, and he ain't ever lived in a house that was worth less than 400,000. And in Nashville, that's basically $1 million home.
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
ain't like Chicago. I got friends that come from Chicago and be like, dude, the house I sold in Chicago, I
Mhm.
can I can buy me three houses in Nashville,
Yeah.
because it's a different market.
Yeah.
But I had to block him because he's privileged. In his mind, he thinks that he should have whatever it is that dad has, and he should just get it. But at the same time, it's ruining who it is that he is and what it is that he could be doing. He's
Mhm.
wasting his time with pretending and pretending through life. And men do the same thing, women do the same thing. I've had exes to come back. I've ran into them in the store or this, that, and another. Why hadn't you called me? Because I got rid of you. There was a reason that I got rid of you. You remember that? Wasn't that me? Wasn't that you? Wasn't that us? Wasn't that my mouth telling you to kick rocks? What I mean, and it's at that point in my life to where I just tell them just like that. No. But when it comes down to my kid's mom, like I tell her, I'll come get them. Show up to court.
Mhm.
How about that?
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. You stole over $50,000 from me.
Mhm.
So, in
And
mercy.
that's what people, and that's what, when I get into relationships, that's the big problem. I'm gonna say this real fast. What you just said,
Mhm,
your kid's mom. That that's the problem that I have in my relationships that dudes don't seem to understand. Like, that's my kid's dad. Men want, when, because I told you how I do. If he come get his kids, he get his kids. That is, I truly believe that I did what I was supposed to do, be fruitful and multiply. I say
mhm,
God said we're supposed to be connected.
mhm,
God said we're supposed to be connected.
mhm,
Anytime this man wants his kids, he can have his kids. These are his kids.
mhm.
Just because I have another man, that doesn't give me the right to say he can't see his kids.
True, true. But At the same time, sometimes people feel that they're not adequate enough, or it's several different things. Like I said, I'm big on education. My company designs everything from education programs to EMF radiation to name it. We kind of do a dabble and do a little bit of everything. But once again, if I tell you that 2 + 2 = 5, trust me, there's a reason why it does, and I can prove it all day, every day. But
Yeah.
even when you're looking at something like your hand, you think that you got 5 fingers, but a finger is actually something that's divided into a single thing when fingers are divided into threes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So technically you got 4 fingers, but you got 3 pieces to actually each
Yeah.
finger,
Yeah.
which means 3 times 4 is going to be 12. Multiply that by 5, you got 60. Now, 60 is every second and a minute, every minute and an hour. You multiply that by 60 and you're going to have the circumference around the earth. You multiply that by 200 and you're going to have the distance from the earth to the sun. Excuse me, from the earth to the moon. You multiply that 4 more times, you're going to have the distance from the moon to the sun. So the reason why we can actually have an eclipse, in that the earth can be here, the moon can be there, and we can actually completely block the sun, is because there was a plan for it. Every now and again, shit goes wrong, but trust me, there's still a plan for it. There's still a plan for
You better come on and teach when you get off this show tonight.
it. There's still a plan for it. And we've got to look at that. And every now and again, just because the dad wasn't there, maybe that particular dad was there to conceive
Yes.
him, but not to
Yes.
teach him.
Yes.
So, and sometimes it's the same way with mom. And
Yes.
who knows? That kid may become 25 years old and end up with the greatest relationship with his dad, and
Yes.
maybe he'll learn then.
Yes.
Everything is a plan. It's designed for us to fall where we're supposed to fall. Trust me. If I wanted, you know, I'm doing okay. Let's just put it that way in life. But it didn't start out that way. You know, I went through a rough spell. I didn't know my dad. My dad overdosed well, I knew my dad, but he overdosed in 2006. And but the thing about it was that he was a brilliant man. He was a very smart man. I learned a lot from him. But the thing about it is that I had a clear understanding that he did it his way, even though it wasn't good.
It was
You know, he
crazy.
didn't leave nothing for me.
Yes.
I was actually offered his watch off his arm while he was in the casket because that was all he had. But
Yes.
the thing about it was, can't nobody say nothing bad about that man. He was my dad. That was my dude. When I saw him every now and again, he was hiding 6 kites, had eaten, and I would take him and feed him. And then, he disappeared. I wouldn't hear from him for another 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. But the thing about it was, when I saw him, and he did say something to me, that knowledge and what it was that he spoke at that point in time, those
Yes.
little things stayed in my head and it taught me and gave me what I needed for that time in my life. I
Yes.
get where it is that you are, my, and
Yes.
and and I feel you, and I understand the anger. I understand what it is that you won't feel, think, and believe. But yet, every now and again, it's not 100% for them to be there,
Yeah.
or it's not supposed to be said right then. It's not supposed to be
Mhm.
done right then.
Mhm.
It will be done, and everybody's path and journey is different.
Mhm.
Believe me, there is a point and purpose of the reason why we're in the positions that it is that we're in. And you're working your way to a position that's going to be great. I can see it because believe me, I am asshole number one. I wouldn't be on this call right now. Uh, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'm just straightforward. I'm straightforward and honest. If I didn't think, feel, believe, and have a knowledge in my mind that I wouldn't be here. You'd be like, that nigga didn't even show up. I'd be sitting at the lake playing a guitar, and that's just real talk. But no, I think that you got some. I think that you got some great things going for you. Keep pushing forward. Everybody that's on this call, keep submitting and keep bringing people on to grow this platform and get her where it is that she needs to be. Because trust me, in 2, 3 years from now, she's gonna have to tell that child something about daddy that she didn't think that she would ever come out of her mouth, and be like, okay, oh, he told you to do this. Well, you know what? Actually, that's the one thing and only thing he done ever said so far that was right. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna forgive the last 15 years. I'm going to ignore that and forget the pain because at the end of the day, all of y'all are going to be where it is that you're supposed to be. Believe me.
And on that note, that is where I am at with my kid's father. But
Mhm.
I did not want you to understand what I was coming from. I believe wholeheartedly everything that you said. Anybody that knows me knows that's how I move.
Mhm.
I have no control over what was planned. And so I make sure on my part
Mhm.
that they always have a connection to that man. And I'm always honest about everything
Mhm.
because he is them and I need them to know them. So you understand?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get out of here and I thank you so, so, so much.
Thank
I
you.
thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, so much. We are going to talk more. We definitely gonna keep this connection going. As always, before I end my show with my fighter's pledge. It
Mhm.
is something that I created because I wanted to put something out into the world
Mhm.
that was directly Micheline Monique. And I
Mhm.
want people to really understand that this is me.
Mhm.
I have a voice in this world and I deserve to be heard. I have an obligation to fight for all those around me, but more importantly, I have an obligation to fight for myself. That is the fighter's pledge.
Mhm. All right. All right.
Well, thank you again. Thank you so much. I pray you have a great night.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have me a glass of Captain Morgan's and Coke and take a shower and call it a night.
Yes,
I
sir.
might call my kids and talk crazy to them just for the hell of it. So just because you tell them that you told me to. Uh,
Okay.
all right. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Oh my God, that was so amazing. Thank you guys who stuck in here with us on tonight. But I'm about to get out of here because you guys know I get up at 4:45 every morning so that I can hit these streets and make this coin. I will be speaking in Philly this weekend for my fighters who you want to see me in action. I will be posting the link. I will be posting the link so you guys can tune in live. If you guys are in Philly, I posted the link so you guys can purchase the ticket. This will be my second live event. I am so, so excited. It will be Flashpoint. It's called the Rocky Experience. And yeah, so I'm prepping up to go there and create an experience. But as always, thank you guys for giving me your Sunday nights. You guys are so amazing. I would not be able to do this without you guys. You will see me here every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central. I know the day and the time, but I do not know the place. Bye bye.